there is a lot more to customizing than what we have just seen, so let's keep going. The plots that we create with MATLAB have two types of grids that are optional. To turn on a grid, simply use the grid function by itself with no arguments, like this, grid. Let's run it, and you can see that now we have a grid in our plot. If you want to turn off the grid, you can use it again. So here we're turning it on, here we're turning it off, so we will have no grid now. But this is a bad practice, because if you're working in a bigger file and you have more code, let's say that you have 100 lines of code, you may get lost as to what was the last grid that you used. Did you turn it on? Did you turn it off? If you use it again, what would happen? Because of this, we have the option to specify if we want to turn it on or off. To do this, simply use on or off right after the grid function, with no brackets, nothing, just like that. If I run it, we get the grid. If now you have some big code here, 100 rows of code, and you want to turn off your grid, you simply say grid off, and now no grid. We can also change the styling of the grid. As you can see, there is a lot of space between the lines of the grid. If you want to make it a bit more dense, you can use grid minor, like that, and now we get it a bit denser, but as you can see, now we are missing the bigger lines, so we can actually mix the two grids, and we can say grid on and grid minor, and that way we get a mix of both of the grids, and it just looks beautiful in my opinion. To turn both of these grids off, you simply say grid off, like that. Now I'm going to leave the grid minor on, and now we will talk about plot labels. Labels are what describe your axes. It's what gives name to your X and Y. Yes, you know that your X is voltage and your Y is current, but if you show this plot to someone else, maybe you print it and use it in a paper or for some homework for your university, there is no way for the person that views this graph to know what is what. To give names to your axes, we can use two very simple functions called the X label and the Y label that we will now see. All you have to do is simply give them values. So X label is our voltage in volts, like that. And if I run it now, you can see that now down here we have voltage. So let's do the same thing for the Y axis. So Y label is current in amperes. Let's run it. And there it is. Now we have voltage and current. You can also change the stylings of these labels. That includes the font, font size, font weight, and color. You can do this the exact same way that we did it when we customized the stylings of our line by using name value pairs. So let's say that we want to make this label a bit bigger. We want to increase its font size. We can say font size and we can make it 12. Let's run it, and it actually didn't get much bigger. Now let's use something bigger, 16. Now you can clearly see that the voltage is bigger than the current. So let's do the same thing for the current, font size of 16. There it is. Now they are much more noticeable. We can also change the font weight. This is the bolding. We can make them bold, so font weight, bold. And if I run this, you can see that the voltage is now a bit bolder, a bit thicker, and much more noticeable than the current. So let's apply this to the current as well. And finally, we can change the color. So let's say that we want our voltage to be in red, so color will be red, and we want our current to be blue. And there we have it.